really love how you speak and how you talk, because I mean we could listen to you for hours. And I know that we talked about that in a previous conversation when where you were mentioning how for you to be talking in front of people was a challenge. And that's also something that I truly admired in what you were saying, because some of those some of those challenges that we face are deeply rooted, and it's again multi-layered, and you still accepted to face it, and you still um, took up the challenge. Can I say that, to take up a challenge?
Yeah.
And you did, and I would like you to tell me a little bit about that. Uh, and I want to say in the way that you want to talk about it, in the way that you feel like expressing it.
Okay. Well, I have always had a hard time talking in public. I have taken, and I mentioned to you previously that I have the messages that I have always wanted to share them to a larger audience. I love my one-on-one work as a psychotherapist, and I love it more every day. And I find it just like you said, the human, the psyche, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. But I've always wanted to get my messages out to a larger audience. And every time I have tried, whether it's taking a speech class, I would take a speech class so I could feel comfortable. I've had people ask me to speak. And when I tell you, Marie, it is agonizing. I literally, my brain would shut off. I would not be able to talk. I wouldn't be able to think. I would say to myself, how on earth can I talk about this stuff every day, one-on-one, and help so many people one-on-one? But when I go to talk and think about talking to more than one person, I can't function. So I had worked on it, and I realized I wasn't in my body. I just think from all the trauma I had, I wasn't in my body. And I would always say, oh, I want to be like Oprah Winfrey. And I would look and watch her on her show. And I'm like, oh, I have so many messages I want to share. Back in, I forget if it was 2013, 2014, I wrote President Obama about my three-tiered plan to cure all the social ills in society, anxiety, depression, relationship issues, illness, domestic violence, abuse. It took me 6 months to write the letter. And I did get a response, which I knew I would because it was good. And I put my heart and soul into it. But anyways, I would say to myself, so I would get these offers and I would turn them down. And I would say to myself, in my next life, I will get my messages out to a larger audience. And then as I've continued on my path, I was given another offer and I said, okay, I think I could do this. Boy, was I wrong. I was filled with massive anxiety. I ended up doing it. It took me so long to prepare. But then when I got up in front of everyone, I was very rigid and very stiff. And I was like, okay, I'm never doing that again. So then, as I continued on my journey, I was like, maybe I could do this when my kids are out in college. So I have a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old. Just as I kept continuing on my path, I just felt a little more, just more and more connected, more at ease. Like the thought of it wasn't as terrifying. So then COVID hit, and I know it was it was and has been very hard for so many people. For me, just the slowing down, I literally felt my nervous system downloading into my body. I would say to my secretary at work all the time, "Oh my God, Arlene, I need 7 of me. I need 7 of me," as I would go in and out of my office to get my next client. And I never saw that I could slow down because, again, I didn't have a sense of security in my childhood. So I always counted on me. So I never felt I could stop. I just had to keep going. So when COVID hit and we couldn't go anywhere, do anything, I will tell you, I was like, wow. I honestly like can cry telling you how much my nervous system, just how much I got in my body. And it was amazing. And then during COVID, I found out that I had nodules in my throat. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that they're not benign, but they're not cancerous. They're somewhere in the middle, and they could turn to cancer. So I'm like, I don't want a part of my thyroid taken out. So that made me nervous. So I went home and I looked in Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. And she talks about the mind body connection. And I looked up nodules. So it said under probable cause for why someone would develop nodules. And it was resentment and frustration and hurt ego over career. So I was like, oh my God, I am meant to share my messages in a larger audience. I've always wanted to, and I am going to do that. I'm going to make that happen. And I happened upon Lee Harris's class on Own Your Value and Earn Your Worth, which is how I met you, and was able to do this interview with you to share about myself and my class and what I decided to, through the class, to offer an online class and share my messages with larger audiences and hopefully get my thyroid nodules to shrink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's been, so with that, with my health, I looked at it and I was like, why is this happening? Because I haven't been, walking my truth.
Yep.
And with everything, like I said earlier, whether it's an illness, a problem in a relationship, a problem with myself, I take everything as an opportunity to heal and move forward.
Mm.
So that's what I'm doing, even though it's scary.
Oh, yeah, I can. Oh
But
man.
at least I'm proud of myself as I sit here and talk to you today, because not that long ago, probably before COVID, before I learned how to sit a little bit more in my body, I would have gone completely blank and not have been able to talk to you.
Mm. Well, you're doing an amazing job at talking to me right now. And as I said,
Oh,
I
the
just love
tears in my eyes.
you talk. Oh, yeah, it's so moving. And by the way you express yourself, we just know that you have to express yourself, you have to talk to people because you have that gift of, some people don't have it, and it's okay, like we all have our own gifts, but you have that gift of, when you start talking, we listen, because you have a way of expressing yourself that it's out there. And yeah, so you
Thank you.
have to use that gift.